What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Everyone's having a great day today. So, as you can see, my check gauge light's on. So, oh, there goes my tank. I'm a little bit low on gas, so that's what we're doing this morning. I'm actually on my way to class. A lot of you guys know I'm a film and video production major at the college I go to. So, I'm on my way to class, about an hour drive, but I thought I'd take a few minutes of that to talk about some stuff for a video for this channel, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes now. And it looks like a project that I'd originally put on hold to happen at a later date might have to happen anyway. And you guys are probably wondering what I'm talking about, because I haven't really said a whole lot about the projects lately. If you guys didn't watch the last couple of videos and a couple of and not the last live stream I did because that's already been taken down, but the 4-year celebration stream, that's a squirrel. Make sure I don't hit that. I had originally planned to put the engine project on hold. I'd pretty much had a change of heart and decided that the engine was healthy enough and that it didn't need to be rebuilt at the time. I was unsure if I was even wanting to put power down into this truck, but kind of the appearance of my KO4 turbo I've got sitting in the garage kind of changed that too. And I was just going to pursue a full bolt-on setup, have some money saved up for stuff like paint and stuff like that. So what am I talking about here then? That might have to happen anyway. So the truck's never been mechanically 100% sound. There's always been things here and there that have been wrong with it. It's got, the dread thermostat housing issues that are about to plague it again, as I'll get into in a moment. But as far as mechanically as this truck goes, it's decent. I wouldn't say it's good or bad. It's definitely not the greats, but it's definitely not, on the verge of death or anything that I know of at this time. So, yeah, once I get through this, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about it. So, yeah, pretty much, me and the guys, as you guys saw on Monday's video, we shot a review of the Speed 3. But when we got back, we were messing around with my truck, trying to diagnose the belt chatter, trying to figure out what pulley exactly it is that's causing it. And then we noticed some other issues. First off, let's start off with a really major one that is probably not going to surprise a lot of you guys. Especially those who know the history of this truck and know what it's been through before I got it. The timing chains are starting to rattle. So you guys can't really hear it right now, but it is very there under, at least at startup. I can't tell if it's there under load or not. I don't hear under load. I do hear it on startup though, which is quite concerning, to be honest. Because that is, if you guys don't know how much a timing chain job on one of these trucks usually costs, it's about $2,500. So it's a very expensive job, and that's because Ford, in their infinite wisdom, put a jack shaft to the other side of the engine. The passenger side timing chain is on the rear of the engine. So it's a guarantee that any time that a timing chain fails on one of these motors, and that goes for any single cam 4.0 vehicle, the Mustang, the Explorer, the Ranger, etc., that the engine's going to have to be pulled and rebuilt, or not rebuild, but replace those chains. So a lot of people will just rebuild their engines at that price because it costs about the same. So I'm going to go ahead and pump some gas. I'm running behind really bad this morning. Alright, $30 at $279 for premium here. That's awesome. Got 270 miles on a little over a half tank. So this thing has been doing actually really good in fuel economy, which is kind of surprising, knowing that I know about it, knowing what I know about it now. So we're gonna hit the road towards school. I've got about an hour drive, so this is going to be very fun. That's probably the biggest one right now, is that the timing chains are starting to make noise, which is indicating that we're on the road, not out yet, but on the road to a timing chain failure. A timing chain tensioner failure, I should say. Chains don't usually break that easily. Which, if you guys know the backstory of this truck, I asked the previous owner if he ever had it done, because we got it at 213K on the clock. He was like, oh, what's a timing chain? So, yeah, I guess I kind of thought, doggone it, of course this light goes red on me. I've seen this coming from a mile away, but it is kind of unfortunate that I had so much other plans that now it wants to hit, It wanted to wait till now to really make itself known. And I've always heard some sort of weird noise at startup, and I always wondered what it was. Now we have confirmation of that. Pretty much we had the hood up, a remote started it, and we all stood around listening to the engine, and that was the first thing that stood out was a clatter on the front left timing chain, the front timing chain, I should say. So like I said, Ford in their infinite wisdom decided to make this as complicated as possible to work on this engine due to the fact that they've got that jack shaft running into a second timing chain on the rear, which is normal. Most overhead cam engines need one timing chain per... Oh my goodness. You like classics? Here you go. There you go. Classic content. Anyway, the truck is just, you know, it's oddly designed, and I don't get why they did it. Audi did the same thing with their 4.2 V8, except all 4 of the timing chains on the back of that engine. So yeah, that's the first thing we noticed. Thankfully, it's not the one in the back, but the point is that if I'm going to replace one, I'm going to replace the other 2, because, I mean, this truck is barreling down on 240,000 miles. Who the heck is calling me from Blinder? Screw off. I don't know you. Anyway, as I was saying, the engine is just oddly designed, and it makes it really hard and really expensive to fix a timing chain issue in these engines. So a lot of people will use the timing chains as their need to get rid of and move on. A lot of people will use that as a way to, as an excuse to move up to a different car, which is fair. A lot of people don't want to mess with timing chain stuff, and like I said, it's rather expensive, and it's really hard to cough up $2,000+ at one time for a lot of middle-class people who drive these. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of high-class people that drive these. I mean, they're kind of cheap and very easy to get a hold of, so I mean, it makes sense that, you know, not really many of the Bill Gates of the world are driving these trucks. But anyway, that's the first thing I noticed, is the timing chains are starting to rattle on startup. I haven't really heard it under load, so I can't really confirm that. The thermostat housing is about to give way again. We started to notice some coolant has been starting to try to drip out of there. But you guys don't know, thermostat housings are probably one of the most common 4.0 issues you'll run into on every single engine, every single vehicle that has the 4.0. It's about as well known as the timing chain and misfires, because there's apparently all 3 seem to be synonymous with 4 liters. The thermostat housing that Ford, in their infinite wisdom once again, designed is plastic, and plastic and heat don't really go together. So the thermostats in these trucks are notoriously fragile. There's only 1 or 2 companies that actually makes upgraded ones that are actually worthwhile, which are the metal ones. I know Zaptec actually sells them now, which is probably where I'm going to go forward with this, because I, quite frankly, don't want to deal with any more broken plastic ones, because they break once a year. I'm always down a thermostat housing and out with the truck for a week about at least once a year because of this stupid design for the thermostat housing. So, the next thing, the power steering pump pulley is also coming loose. Power steering pumps are not cheap because apparently you can't replace just the pulley. The belt chatter, I mean, that's a huge issue right now, because I hate how it sounds. It's kind of embarrassing at car shows to clatter around car shows. So, I mean, there's just a lot going on behind the scenes of the truck right now. It's very not mechanically sound. So, I guess the question is, a lot of people saw last year in the transmission grenaded, I was trying very hard to get rid of this thing. I'm not in that same mindset right now. While yesterday I was very frustrated when I found out everything, so I'm filming this on Monday, it's something that at this point is expected. It's a 239,861 mile and counting truck. I'm probably going to be closer to 239.9 by the end of the day. It's definitely just going to have wear and tear. It's old. It's got a lot of miles. It's obvious that it wasn't really taken care of until I got a hold of it. And I wouldn't say I'm the greatest at taking care of cars. I mean, I'm still learning a lot because I literally have only been driving for about 5 years. So I'm still learning a lot on how to take care of cars. I know plenty, but I'm still learning more and more as time goes on, how to deal with issues and stuff of that nature. So pretty much, what are our options? So I could try again and sell it if I wanted to. I'm not really that kind of guy to pass off my issues onto someone else. It's not really, I don't know, I just find it sketch. It's not really something that I would do. I know plenty of people do it, but I feel like that's what happened to me. I got passed on a truck that needed some work, and they didn't disclose that. And while I'm kind of bugged about that now, because it's like there's a lot of dishonesty going on there, because the truck had a check engine light on the night we got it. All in all, I mean, I still love this truck, and that's the issue, is I don't necessarily want to get rid of it. It's a truck that I love having around and driving and enjoying and having fun with. Sure, I could try really hard to sell this thing and jump into a Mustang or something like that, and I mean, the channel will get probably lots more views, and I'd probably be, in a lot faster and a lot better sounding of a car. But the point is that this channel's been built around this truck. I've fallen in love with this truck every day, despite its mechanical flaws. Sure, there have been plenty of times where I've been so irritated by this thing that I just want to jump it off a bridge and sell it, or jump it off a bridge and claim the insurance money if I actually had full coverage on this thing. But the issue at hand is not a truck issue, but a wear issue. This is something that pretty much most cars, if not all cars, that around this point in the mileage will start to have. Pulleys coming loose, timing chains are starting to fail if they haven't been failing already, if you hadn't replaced them at this point. There's a cop up the road, blocking the road. Interesting. The options are pretty much I either sell it or fix it. So what are our options on fixing it? I have been thinking about just going ahead and doing the engine project. I have plenty of money saved up. I should be able to do it. Keyword should. I'm going to make some calls today and figure out where we should go, whether I should just get it rebuilt, see how much that would cost. Because while I do have a good bit of money saved up for this, because this was the original plan, was to do this, I don't know if I have the complete amount needed to do this. So it's obviously going to be a lot. I mean, I'm going to have to do a lot of thinking, a lot of budgeting and stuff like that, and figuring out what I need to do to keep this thing alive, because that's like my biggest thing, is I need to keep this thing alive. So I still have everything to go to a full bolt-on setup, and that's fine. The goal is that no matter what, it's going to get everything installed while it's in the shop. But the question becomes now is, do I, just try to cheaply rebuild this thing and get it done for not very expensive? Because I don't think it'll cost too much to rebuild this, because in the end, this engine's actually, the mechanically, minus those couple of things, is not too bad. I'm not hearing any rod knock. There's no issues like that. I'm very weird about keeping up with the oil. I never have issues with keeping up with oil in this thing. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm going to have to do lots of calling and lots of thinking and all that kind of good stuff to figure out whether this truck is in definite need of, a bottom end rebuild. I feel like that I could almost get away with just doing the heads and I'd be fine, and doing, getting the chains done and getting oil pumps and stuff like that replaced. And we good to go. Because that's actually a theory that I have, is that I might be starting to have an oil pump failure due to how the engine runs. The loud chatter at load that is coming from the belt, the timing chains at startup. I can't guarantee nothing. I honestly don't know, because I feel like if it was, I mean, this has been going on for years at this point, that it would have grenaded by now if that were the case. Hopefully, knock on steering wheel, that doesn't happen today, because that would be just what I need to probably have a really bad mental breakdown. But anyway, that's the truck in a nutshell right now. I'm going to try to do a lot of thinking and a lot of planning, because I know a lot of people are going to say it's not worth fixing. It's an old truck that's not going to be a 9-second car. What's the point? But the point is, for me, is that I do enjoy this truck. And sure, while it's not a 9-second car, and while it doesn't have an LS or a Coyote or anything in here, it's still fun. I still enjoy it. It's not Hayden's S2000 or Michael's Mazda Speed 3 or his Charger. But this is still, my signature build. People know me for this vehicle, and I just don't feel like that getting rid of it would be, the greatest move for me. Plus, there's a lot of other stuff behind the scenes, not involving myself, but involving my parents and all that. So I'm not gonna go into that and put their business on blast. Involve the truck. So, but anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap things up here and get the rest of my drive underway to school. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that it's back and forth right now with the engine project, but